Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job, then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
Penny for baby say, if you are seeing her, be the map, be check. Why not HL? So we pay IT, we the 1 year, so we pay support. Slam Technology say your number one partner. Your office will US in your office will Ghana, so your numbers need to so we should share IT classes, we share career coaching, we share support for business, cybersecurity. Free, na your partner. Your back fear wow. Slam Technologies, transformation with excellence. Free is here, baby, be around me and wow.
Thank God it's Friday. We shall find more about SVTV Africa Social Live from SVTV Africa Studios. I mean, more be about hope so be on here. Yes, thank God it's Friday. When you say Fridays, be a many lawyer wisdom akao wise man solicitors here program. What I say, internet. Time in Asun. Normally 5:30 to 7, but MC about 6. Inti mufancha ya elite. Many lawyer wisdom akao baby dingomo. First time I'll share near. A YouTube channel SVTV Africa, making sure so be me adomano so subscribe and no be me adomano so now I share as your trust so bit me I share to Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, baby I bit me I share my friends WhatsApp groups near there bit me I share movie as also now share your Facebook so I streaming live a page SVTV Africa and also bit me I share link be obi the reason why I will share one say obi so be hu enye obi na ehu. And one share na call page so obi so hu a no say information and as onim unu ebi wo onim enti eno an say obe share nkosto hwe o follow yen na wa share page na obi so ehun ne ekoso won say bebre na beda was say oh why are there say wetimi a share ono so nya some information enti o hwa na wa share both pages na wa share na we follow yen I mean go straight na me lawyer wisdom aka wo ba ne ye be pick calls enti lawyer ba yen kasa nche and ebe pick calls. Me find a man into screen so prayer call. A WhatsApp call. Your WhatsApp. One more or number there. Save plus 2332406778898. Or question be out person obisa lawyer. Uma or question be out person obisa ne bi one no munti type it. Maybe lines and no afraid. Na obisa no question. Question be out person especially UK in common AD. Ebia wo UK unim ne ekoso lawyer de obema ofela no ai lawyer wisdom aka obako de lawyer mentunka
if you
fina utego intakula na ewo me ba lawyer afina utego intakula na ewo me ba afina ewo me ba mente Mama check him. I am not a crack about mente. Aha, I feel tonka, but before that mente. Otemega. Me the otemega ba oda mentunka. Aha. So today na lawyer Mikey and Mikey also will be over Mikey Messi will prep. Do me time and
we fancy my name.
Best you side say crop I say beba. Oh, that what name master?
Yes, system changes no.
Aha, see a ban echo. Enti my technician in sort out. Enti yeah, once I train lawyer wisdom aka no sort the sound no. Me kan me number na o screen so no. Enti emre do am ni lawyer kasa intro bi area na. The line na wa frɛ WhatsApp ba me frɛ sisi a wo question bi a opese obisa na wa frɛ nti na me ye program me ka cha mo say share ma onua bi nkrofo bebre konyama bebre mu so mo UK ni ade wrong nkrofo bi mu mislead omo ni ade information omo nya bi wa nya correct ni ade lawyer wa say bisa no ask lawyer frɛ no na bisa no ubisa na ye tie bia no obema o lead no be church say you say and say na misi kan no and a comment section so obetimi a drop it or question bia obese ubisa na ebi mu ha omo type it obetimi a type it and so ye betimi take calls no na obese o type so a and so bemboa enti once I train lawyer wisdom akawo no me ma obi akwa baba SVTV Africa so FM DJ nyame so obese oba me show so baby awo obi a me ne Ghana for more worldwide in Yadin Komo. Kroben na was Ghana, way to quite baby awo obi a me show we which about Ghana for obi a na your hobby. It didn't come or you tin your coso I say more links near the it is always over me show no subia. Me number na screen so numbers near 2 which me pick away and I say YouTube channel na back on or +233 240677898 and I said +233 244790902 two numbers and one in our WhatsApp so obet me your voice note and I say a WhatsApp message me respond me on the how on framing but with your voice note and I say WhatsApp messenger me responding simple as that and I'm sure no so no omo follow me him say new faces ba me new be kasa na here na contact very simple me contact me find you dey bia me check contact but say be bisa nipa no say farmer oh any dem we 1,000 na mobile cry give ben you obi I be mo on so you o no be bisa no go say no don't give my contact me onya kasa de ni che me we hwan me mfa no ma say me new be kasa na me bisa ne say oh ebia obi say oh here number and na say obi bisa ne number no say farmer oh me dem remember one time send me one social media handles. No, say me find the contact in my crime in the social media handle them out. And you go DM, go chat them yourself. Send me war. The social media handle me them. And no case me find the number so me them. And say me o case that be there. Any the privacy or say that be me need them. Anyway, me try lawyer wisdom akawo so was sorted. Be out and young fire. And I know last week we needed in Komobi. But me one thing is one thing I minimum about lawyer we say so ni fact be a onka. Lawyer some information not buy about we no. Enya dey be a boho say omo home office for and say passport office for be trouble. No. Nya information na start to look sharp. Baby mo minim so meka so anya na kra because ohun say bronia kan ana ohun say almost omo nka sanfo on nka nchew ade omo enyi ni nyina but lawyers no mo ye we no munim because omo no mo ni home office for ni passport for ni court for ni so they know what is going on and it am see lawyer ebi mo de omo media no so omo twen de obi be kan o media bi so ana say no so abekebi lawyer wisdom akao so ni ono so hu ya onka so nima onka sanya no kra onka because ejuma no oye no on betu mfutro ngu ni asama me kan bi hu yi so enya no kra on meka sanya esi dabi enjo no ka bibia for serious menina kansen bebre wa ha o start kan ye o kan ye na ade no start say ba news ni ba outside several times one follow your money lawyer what's out
DJ, what's up, man?
fantastic o technician we dey bia before be clicking e so be gina on chain lawyer what ba kwa ba boko there lawyer
I'm sorry.
Meso me we pa sound issue we there say na you're killing fast. Na how kakra a delay. But all
Same
the
source.
say
You said the same source now you use it from. So
won na be film kakra so what they say nti normal machine ye use nti lawyer what dia time ni dey call and last week me knew the nkomo bi e hwe caption na me knew the nkomo bi last week ni e kan about children's British passport being revoked, you know. Yeah, can any video be crab out. I mean, we say we so tweet to TikTok near there. Yeah, be omen bisa permission fee or omen ko a video there too. Ube ji obi content a un bisa no. Era on a to me say bi mo tro, bi mo say yeah, bi mo say I saw munji, I saw mu hu obebi ada ne ade. Na me say this so hu obebi answer. Now, if I deal, we are going to see Brody Becatro. I will see Brody now to Chrome on Becatro on Cantro. This almost common China no munim. Oh, indeed, right. What about the updates on this issue? Near picky phone and ever picky calls before maybe some question. The umbers of Mubisa of the Mumbisa. Indeed, more share and when you are boss saving Namano or Casawia, maybe a line and our friend. It's a lawyer. Maybe over to you on this where I can and I know last week amount for person who online and sana and I'm person who say I don't know how they want it feel like how they but I don't know how they want it and I'm assuming guys say oh nimbi bia onka oh nimbi bia koso onka minimum
David. Yeah, I'm feeling. But we are one chain there. Say, young Trono, young Freno, young country sombra interview. And now DNA. And they say, because one year sign information in tea, on Jin this say, a dear, a coso. I had to say, Yare, say, Yare, a bone, a bin one. Tis a COVID. Say, I'm one now, I'm be a ben one. Your cow say, a young pass. COVID by. Now so about waiting. I want to mean whom and I won't be a channel and I won't be a few more. Hey, I dare I can send a ampa. The same thing and I ate here. And she said a binomo and farm on man yin on issue be a home office and Toronto, passport office and Toronto, on one friend somewhere interview. It's all can. Abeka so ade enye no kre but omo failing no omo na mo say ampa ne ye ka no eye no kre and of course bi che obia me chia etiefo bia DJ ne obi wo ho a enye ade a passport office edi ba betu dwa say we are revoking the passports from children from this time to this time omo mfa ma enye ade am ade ba betu dwa because enye obia na ye affected. And the omo affected no omo na yebe picky one na ya trotro. Me my example be wa last week, I think the week before. About the sign na obia wabadu krom ha 5 months na wawuba. Ni bano papa no oni Ghana at the time my many say 5 months ana 6 months ana ebia 7 months mpo. Waba wu haba okrom ha usi abofra ne ye British citizen meanwhile ye calculated time onye nsan ye no na it was from outside the UK na se papa na wusi oye abofra ne papa no only outside the UK at the time oye den na ohia onye nsan and sa calculations we na omo eye obi a wabekrom ha with visa bia omo to make cost system no so normal check it the date you arrived in the UK. Maybe 1 or 2 may not be traced, but say a idea recent, maybe let's say 10 years down, sometimes even more than that, they are able to trace the year now. Uba Chroma. And the Abia Benedicta was who by 2022. Uba do ya no. and after 9 months, and let's say after 8 months and 7 months, they look at the date the child was born and work it back 9 months. 9 months, no, not in your country. You were not here. Papa na also Papa, so he wasn't in the country at the time of the pregnancy, at the time of the conception. Ubayedeng actually what said, or no, any abufrani papa ampa. Based on that calculation, working back from the date the child was born, working it 9 months back, almost a day, and your papa way, any abufrani papa ampa. Nti say idea, omodi British passport, ama abufrano because of papa na, ombet me actually say for interview with papa no, anampo, enya interview mpo a papa no, ene ne ba no, enkoye DNA, ayin kire se ono ne abufrani papa ampa. Se omokoye na kire se eni papa asambie ni ho, but so wankwa ankoye. And also went me and said na papa no wo ebia wo no mu at the time of the pregnancy me na me ye decision mpo na me passport office mpo I will question you, how did this man become the father of this child for him to obtain a British passport for this child when he wasn't in the country where you conceived or where you got pregnant at the time of the conception? No, niho. Chubaya de achira me say, onena bufran papa ampa. Se bibi sa wa, prove it to me. Say ni wa. Achira se enyo no eni abufran papa nte. British passport no ombet meji efi abufran nsam. Now, British citizenship is a question of law, and yet question of arguments and a question of facts or per se. It's a pure question of law. When we say question of law, what do we mean? One, we've just section 1 of the British Nationality Act 1981. It specifies the conditions under which a child will be British if, one, the father is British at the time yewu abofrano. And ani maame British at the time yewu abofrano. And now someone British mpo ni papa ewo indefinite leave what time yewu abofrano. And ani maame nso kura indefinite leave what time yewu abofrano. Set yewu sa abofrano wo krom ha, automatically abofrano are a British citizen. And we one of the conditions. Ofe wa now got section 1-2 of the British Nationality Act, again 1981. And also say abofrano papa and animame ewo in the military at the time ayewa abofrano sa abofrano obey a British citizen. The question is, first one, at the time ayewa abofrano nani papa British ana osi debi, ni maame British ana osi debi, ni papa kra indefinite osi debi, ni maame kra indefinite osi debi. In that case, no matter the argument of that child is not and will not be a British citizen at the time of birth. So that is that. Come down to section 1-2. Was the father in the U.S. His Majesty's Armed Forces? If the answer is no, no amount of argument will make that child become a British citizen because it's a question of law. And the law says this. Then Uko section 1-3 of the British Nationality Act 1981. Section 1-3 say yewu abofrano nani papa ni asitna ni maame nso oni asitna ana omunye settled. But yewu abofrano maybe after 1 year, 2 years, and not 3 years, ni papa benya indefinite leave to remain. Ana ni maame benya indefinite leave to remain. Sasana etia, then abofrano will be registered as a British citizen. Onya British automatically will be registered as a British citizen. So uya registration we na omuji tumwa ansana yebema certificate of registration. Sa abofrano once when you certificate afeina okwakoje ni British passport. And that child is not a British automatically, but that child will be registered to become a British citizen because at the time that child was born, the father was not British, the mother was not British, the father was not settled, the mother was not settled. But later, the father or the mother became settled. In that case, the child will be registered as a British citizen. On that basis, Abofrana is a British citizen. It's a question of the law. What does the law say? Simple. Then you go to section 1(4) of the British Nationality Act 1981. We've looked at 1(1), 1(2), 1(3), and 1(4). 1(4) say, Abofrano, yawo no krom ha, watena krom ha for the first 10 years of the child's life. Na, we didn't to kwampoa, by whichever means, but one could do more than 90 days outside. Ebia unya 2.5 years. Emano. Ni mami kura 2.5 years into when 2.5 years Emma Abofrano so. Or the net to kwan ako aba wako aba holidays. Now so one could do more than 90 days in a year out of the UK. Sabo Frano set what's not for 10 years. By virtue of section 1(4) of the BNA 1981, you can register that child as a British citizen. It's a section 1(3), section 1(4) are registration for the child to be British citizen. That is not automatic. 1(1), 1(2) automatic. 1(3), 1(4) registration. That is what the law says. And to say, not want to have for 10 years. Application for Abofrana. It will not be granted because it's a question of the law. The law says 10 years. This Abofrana did 9 years, 9.5 years. Now go register. That application will be refused because 10 years is 10 years, not 28 days before 10 years, and not 2 days before 10. It has to be 10 years before the application is put in. So that is what the law says. Now, say Abofrano Papa, a British citizen, na okowu Abofrano outside the UK. Ehono takes us to section 2. The first one was section 1(1), section 1(2), section 1(3), section 1(4). Now we go to section 2 of the BNA 1981. Section 2 talks about registering a child that is born outside where the father is a British other than by descent. It talks about the child being registered, the child being a British citizen, not by registration, but automatically as a British citizen. Automatically as a British citizen. We could have British passport and a British citizenship. I am a British not by descent. And yes, I'm a papa a British, and son I mean so you woman am a British. So papa a British. The no we are British. Wo san you are a British by descent. And to say wo ko outside the UK, your child will not be a British automatically. You need to register that child as a British citizen. So we have by descent, and then we have by registration. If you are British by descent, Mercy Subium, it's a bit confusing. Automatically you are a British citizen under section 1(1) or section 1(2). Wo sani pano, uko outside the UK, ubano on your British automatically. Who what UK ha or you're British automatically. But uko outsider, you need to take that child through registration before they become a British citizen. That is the difference. But so when you're British, later na register no and unya British citizenship, wo outside the UK, your child is automatically a British citizen. It's a bit confusing, but that is what the law says. Why is that the case? Now, assuming, sir, me a British, me papa a British, and I'm a British. I'm working on assumption. Yeah, woman, no, automatically me a British citizen. So me so me call me ba outside the UK. Because me a British, no, me ba no say or you British. Because me papa a British answer na yeah one on you British. All right, granted. So me ba no what now you Ghana ho the whole life. Or else when you we 35 years, and now we 30 years. Or no so one ni ba no say or you then. Or you British citizen because nani papa a British and sana yawu or so be a British citizen. All right. Or no so ni bano. You are one of Ghana hono. Se ni bano me bano in that my grandchild. I also a British no. One year British passport. Or no so at na Ghana. Wa woni ba after many years. Ni bano so be kasa or den. Babekasa or British. Or no so ni bano so be kasa or British. So it keeps going on and on and on and on to 100 to 200 years. Everybody will claim they are British citizens because my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather was a British citizen. I am claiming my British citizenship through that. The law doesn't work that way. And that is why there has to be a point of reference, a cut-off point. Semi-British automatically, now me woman ban or outsider. I'm British by descent, and I give birth to my child outside. The child will be British, but through registration. I have to register my child to be a British citizen. So that is what it is. Now, the focus on the year council Ewohani said, and Mofrana Ayeji on passport no, is not about section 1.3 or section 1.4 or section 2.1, section 2.2, section 2.3. It is referring to Emofrana Yawo Mokrum ha. Papa no say oya British. And the ding edani banisu under section 1.1 or section 1.2. Yeji British passport ebani bano. Upon na problem no error. Based on these calculations, Mikaya, counting 9 months back, was the man in Ghana, was the man in South Africa, was the man in Zimbabwe, was the man in Nigeria at the time of the pregnancy. If the man was not there, how can you prove to me, who am a caseworker, that the child is the biological child of this father? Tell me how. So you tell me how it is possible. The man wasn't in Ghana, the man wasn't in Nigeria, the man wasn't in Zimbabwe at the time of the pregnancy. How can you prove to me that he is the father of the child? Obibaka, well, it is true, surrogacy. Surrogacy, yes, that is a surrogate. Somebody carried the pregnancy on behalf of XYZ. Well, if that is the case, then there is a different rule for application for surrogacy. All right? There's a different rule for application for that, and not based on section 1.1 or section 1.2 or section 1.3. It's a different ball game. So that is what is causing the problem. So based on the letters we are receiving or people are bringing to us, British passport applications that were issued to children between 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Amuna ye tro wom say enya mo nyina, but omo ye calculation na omo hu se na papa no ne krom ho. Na time mama ne bedu krom ha no, there's no evidence papa no ne abofra ne papa mpa. Omo ne ye pick wom back here and there. I'm saying random, and it's just something they are doing across board. Yeah, tro say wonni evidence DNA betre se abofra no eye papa no eba mpa ene ye beji the passport ne finisam ne omu kan se ya no say since we issued the passport in 2023 or 2024, new evidence or new information has come to light, which indicates that the father, Mr. XYZ, is not the biological father of this child, and therefore we want you to provide additional evidence to support your application. If you're not able to provide it, the passport will be revoked. The child's passport will be taken away from the child. If you're able to provide it, not a problem at all. So this is what is happening. And yes, it is what is happening now. So I would advise, if that is the situation with you, make sure, you have all the supporting evidence to prove, the man is the father of this child. If the man was in Ghana, if you can produce evidence of the stamp in his passport when he arrived at Kotoka to show that he really truly entered Ghana at that time, or between the time that he entered and the time he left, those stamps are there. And then also his tickets. I went to me producing a ticket to show that he was in Ghana at the time. That is also one thing you can prove with. They also asked for the man's naturalization certificate. They ask for the man's photographs with you and the child, the woman and the child. They ask for this information. They are also asking for the father's birth certificate, any benefits are or GMA Nepano. They want to see if the man is actually financially supporting the child. If there is anything of the sort, you can also provide those to support your application. They want antenatal records. The records of, let's say, when the mother was going for treatment and everything, did the man attend the GP with the child, mother, etc., etc.? They want to know all of that. They want to see any utility bills, the addresses you've lived at during the period of the pregnancy or till the child's birth. Were you living in London? Is it South London? Was she living in North London? What addresses were you living at? They also want to see sometimes apano ne ma'aowo. How many children has he got? What are their names? Times of birth. They want to see all of that. The child just turned 5 years, and your child also turned 5 years. They want to compare and contrast all. It is possible that, yes, he has a child from two different relationships. That is perfectly possible. But because of the doubts, they want to check and be sure that what you are saying is right. And therefore, they would ask you to provide a DNA with the child's father, the child and the father to provide a DNA. With that, you are able to, of course, disabuse their mind or take away any doubt they have that the child is not the biological child of the father. Once you can prove that, your passport will be retained. Now, the problem is this. Sa Ubana Eddie, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Not you're revoking the passport now. Once so Edia would you 2.5 years based on Ubana, not where you're British citizen. Say Yeji Abufrani British passport if in somewhere. 2.5 years now Ukraino. Edia Home Office on troll said, yeah, you may have the same 2.5 years, but 2.5 years Nikon na ukwa the British another 2.5 years. That is where the problems would arise. Maybe say bring Abufrani British passport. Uko can't say revoke here. That of course the child is not a British citizen. And one council and those two check it and find out if the child still has a valid British passport or is not valid. They would find out. In that case, 2.5 years, they may refuse your application because the child's father's 2.5 years, the child's British passport has been revoked, and therefore it would affect you, the mother, as well. Your 2.5 years is based on your child being British. So if your child is no longer British, then your 2.5 years will be affected. In any case, so we valid is 7 years. Will register as a British citizen. In that case, because your child is a British citizen, you can register the child for indefinitely. My apologies, not British. You register the child to non-registration. You apply for indefinitely for the child. So only 10 years are not registered. Only 7 years over application for indefinitely for the child. Because ubane this 7 years ninti, to me, after ubane so now one so would the sitting. But so ubane the 7 years, and your application are very likely it will be refused. And to be binia, you may just have to hang on in until set ubane this 7 years. Not which me afane so edianya 2.5 years continuation. But it means if you're 2.5 years now, the amount it will come to an end. And then you become an overstayer again before you resume again after the child turns 7 years. Now, what should we do? Should we still apply even if the child's British passport is revoked? It's a question we have to think about very carefully. And Sana, yeah, the answer is not all because application fee will come in, IHS will come and say, refuse here, you lose your application fee. So we have to consider very carefully before obey any application in future. So all in all, Nyaya it's not a hoax. It's not just any thought we are saying, a idea, a koso. Set and can wa overcast and no pray. But as a matter of fact, a idea, a koso. Now, again, there was some video some time ago. Obi a casa umbeteme aye mwaye nankofo video muding aye nyama bi atu nyama bi su etc etc. Mejidi say no eka huntina British Passport Office, His Majesty's Passport Office is actually going back to check these passports that were issued to these children to be sure they were entitled to it. So, DJ, it's not a fake, it's not a flake, it is true, and it's something that is going on. Now, Yesikoye DNA, there are some companies that you can use. Don't just do the DNA from any company because there are some companies that will not be accepted by the passport office. So we have Alpha Bio Laboratories, we have Attolife, Attolife, Attolife Limited. We have Biofortuna Limited. We have Cellmark, Cellmark, Cellmark. We have Complement Genomics. Almost they accept that. We have DDC Laboratories. Almost they are accepted. We have Europeans Forensic Services Limited, and we have Europeans Medigenomics Forensic. Then we have Gentrack Biolabs. We have all of this information, these labs. As we get DNA from there, they will be accepted by the passport office. Do not do it from from a laboratory that is not acceptable. You will waste your money. They will not refund your money back to you. So please take notes of that. So, DJ, I'll take questions if there are any for this evening. Thank you.
All right, lawyer wisdom. I say the update we bring. More mo person mo bisa no question. More mo person mo friend no. Maybe a number na maybe a number into so WhatsApp +233-240-677-898. Oh, friend, a line the card I'm a throw back. And then I use +233-240-677-898. Only WhatsApp audio call. And you bet me a friend lawyer. Number the whole screen is no fra. Oh, question be a person ubisana, be beach, you are doing so person ubisana. Obet me a friend lawyer. Straight no ubisano. Intent, but I mean, share comment section say BB or lawyer, I mean, say me. Okay, lawyer, take it away.
Saki, hi. Say how much does it cost for spouse visa renewal? Include home office fees, lawyers' cost is estimated cost, please. Thank you. Now the renewal spouse, that is after 2.5 years, the home office fee is £1,321. 1321, and the home office fee. The IHS is £2,587.50. 2587.50. Udi nimian in the bonwa a £3,908.50. 3908.50. 3908.50. And not any total, no. What pen and Temwa 1 day, you pay additional £1,000. That makes it 4908, which is almost £5,000. That is if you want it quick. They don't have priority. It's the skilled workers that have standard, priority, and super priority. But for spouse visa, it is only standard and super priority, and that is £1,000. So that is what it is. Legal fee will vary depending on your circumstances and depending on what the lawyer range of fees are. But generally, the home office fee, the IHS, the super priority is what I've just mentioned to you. 1321 2587.50, 1,000 on top for express, if you want that to be the case for you. Thank you so much.
Okay, your first caller, lawyer too.
Lawyer, and really, there was an on church or the my. Now, my question is, see, I'm out for the lawyers, no more see TikTok now, or more church and see moment for free. Who post a war when you see, I can't bear never fast upon a bit me, I be lawyer.
What is our question?
This is me will be naive.
Okay,
but Otunia and Toby and
why? Lawyer, no, straight to the matter until I don't know catch you.
It's good, say we'll go straight to the issue, and that is the issue that needs addressing. Thank you. That one, you haven't wasted time. Now, it's a very broad question, but it needs specific answers. Your obisani say obi wo krom ha. Ana ono a ebia ono a wabisa question. Wa wo krom ha. Oni asitna. Ebia ne visa no ewu. Edien na obetumi aye edianya asitna ewo krom. Ana edien na obi a owa krom ha. Ebia nye ono, but obi a wo krom ha no. Oni asitna edien na obetumi aye edianya asitna. I will give you some 4 specific answers. 4. Now, they may not be the solution for you, but that is the general box or the general category into which a person has to fall. Number 1, so what bakrumha na uvesan ewu unia sitna. The first point is bibi friend appendix private life. Appendix private life. And no say we are between 0 to 18 years, you should be in the UK for 7 years. Wait me application, 0 to 18 years old. No wait na krom have for 7 years. We application now. So we are between 18 years to 25 years, and so na krom have for half of your life. And to say 18 years, half of that is 9 years. What the 20 half of that is 10 years. What the 22 half of that is 11 years. What the 24 half of that is 12 years. And if the age is between 18 to 25 years, you should be in the UK for half of your age. And the age I wait, look at that, divided by 2, and ask yourself, have I been in the UK for that number of years? If that is the case, we'll submit my application without any problems. The third option is, we are more than 25 years older. Remember, it's 0 to 18, 18 to 25, 25 years and above. So we are more than 25 years old. I mean, your age in your passport, which is what you are working with. If you are more than 25 years, as a set, which is what's not have for 20 years. 20 years. And if you can prove that you've been in the UK for 20 years, then you are able to apply for your leave to be here. And no, and now I'm saying almost 20 years instead of 10 years. Almost 20 years. So what now have for 20 years? We applications so now have for another 20 years and some one indefinite. So it means 20 years, maybe already 40 years, and a wabba chrome her. I bet now for 20 years. And San Eddie to 2.5 years to 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 28 times. That is another 20 years. So in total, you'll be 80 years old before you get to indefinite. Right now, it is 10 plus 20 plus Mfiawedi before you came to the UK. So that is what it is. That is appendix private life. Option 2. Uba promohan ubisanewu. But who was serious medical condition, serious medical problem. How would you treatment every month or every other month? Uko for checkup. Society not say only any way of receiving treatment when you go back to your country, or even when you go back to your country, the treatment is not there. The health system in that country cannot be equated to the health system. Oh, UK. Society, and you can prove say your situation is so bad and you need to be here to receive treatment. Sasana etia, then of course, your medical conditions no application under Article 8 human rights. Also, they'll consider it. So your situation is so serious, compelling, compassionate, then of course, so 1, a long residence. 2, medical condition. Number 3, ubayeno uvesanewu wosha oba febi one no aware ono one no awoba sa one na awoba ubetimi application based on your child as a parent. Waware no ni mami na waware na emfa ho abofra ne awoba wodin won the birth certificate no. So every evidence points that this is your child, and there's a genuine and continuing relationship between who and Wubano. In that case, Appendix FM Section LTRPT Ubetimi application based on Wubano with reference obviously to EX1, Exception 1. Your child is a British, your child is in the UK, your child is under 18, it will be unreasonable for the child to leave the UK with you. If you can prove these things based on Wubanente, Ubetimi Anya application, Ubetimi application, Ubetna Kromha, based on Wubano. In that case, you are the biological father of the child, biological father of this child. A possible set Ubetimi Anya wasitna in this country. The other one is Uniba Nansu Uyuna Wawarene no Oba and to Wabaya stepfather. With additional information, then you can apply to be in the UK. So I've talked about private life, 0 to 18, 18 to 25, 25 and above, you have to be in the UK, etc. Spouse, medical, parent, and clearly these are the options. Otherwise, you can go back to your country, apply to come back as a spouse if you want to be in the UK. So it's a very limited option, but that is what it is. Thank you. Tech Brains, hi. I'm currently in the UK on a skilled worker visa and I earn income from YouTube and TikTok through monetization. Could this have any impact on my eligibility for indefinite leave to remain? I mean, this to that extent to check your additional source of income in terms of the TikTok and the YouTube earnings. I know people do this, being at £20, £30 here and there to support themselves. I don't think that's a big deal. And of course, I doubt if that is a reason or a basis on which deeper refuse your application. I think the main thing is, are you working with the main employer? The employer now do buy, are you still working with them? If you are working with them, it's a time to soon for your extension. Would they give you the letter to confirm that they are still working with you and they still need your services? If those things can be proved, then of course you should be able to get your indefinite leave to remain. As for the TikTok and the YouTube monetization, I haven't seen anything which shows that your application will be refused because of that. Why?
Okay, next caller. Open so friend lawyer. Number on the screen is on +233-240-677-898. Open so who question be open so Mr. Lawyer Fresicia. Caller, lawyer Theo. Hello.
Lawyer Bache, good evening.
Good evening, Otio.
Aloya Pacho make and say me 2018 ever Ghana. Na the birth set no me register. But I say manye biometric no. It me pese come de ne ba. But the birth said that I'm manye biometric. Eh me can say menya issue kakra wum efa the din no. Efa the din no ye twen ye no I say enya the din spellings na omo de ma me no nya sa ne wo. Esa no system no so. And the date of birth no kra no esa sesa wo system no so. Nti metima ye birth set for ama no new one ama no. Na kam de naba.
A mistake and a bar. Mistake, a error and a bar in the registration processor. Mamun correct it. Now I'm issue the correct birth certificate with the correct details. Set a error and on my year. Let them issue a new birth certificate with the correct details. Not where to meet the Abufrana. But the problem is the child was born in 2018. We are now in 2026, which is how many years? 8 years ago. So, Okoji new birth certificate. Home Office for an entry clearance officer, but me I can say, Adentina, who were praying 8 years ago, a faina Ukakoji new birth certificate, and the engine dimpo set Abufrano here, Uba. In that case, they can refuse the application. But if you want to persuade them or convince them, say, and Chris Abufrano Uba, out of your own will, Ubetimia your DNA to support the fact that this is my child. The forensic evidence is clear. The dioxyribonucleic acid forensic evidence, scientific evidence, DNA tracer, Abufrano AMEBA. The only difference is birth certificate. No, first one was issued. There was an error. It's been corrected. This is it, but the DNA confirms that the person or the child is my child. With that, you should be fine. We should be fine. I think you'll be fine. Why?
Call at you. Lawyer at you.
Hello, lawyer. About you, we were saying this house. The office be na yede enkrata de ba ha na say no. Me ma ba be shia ba bi a me no genuine relationship as say kra of fu. And I'm saying person busa say oh nyame adom no oh how long na be take am be be ne birth set ne passport no. Is me so me visa na ka be some months bi na ewu. Am person can busa.
Okay.
Time Bena, Mama never won.
I said that time na mama never wo.
Obe o nyame adom a March yi.
You won't so visa never would time bang.
Also,
Me so me dey me visa ni be 2027 January.
Lawyer, okasa nemba o.
Never Abufrano Mamewo.
La, take a question, take away ni be man to the okay no. Also there.
Assistant
This time be 2027 January.
Assistant ben na akola ne ma me wo.
A British ya wonu krom ha a British ni.
Okay. Any no. Woni how cry. Men worry. Say you ubano in March. Na ne mame eje ni birth certificate mano. Wo so ding aba Abufrano birth certificate so your ba. After that, obet make you British passport at their mano. It can be done in a matter of weeks. Or Jenny money we are ubet to me. As we achieve from visa now was to say now 2027 no. But me as we achieve a parent route no so based on Ubano, our British citizen. You should not have a problem. I think you are in a comfortable lead. You're in a comfortable position and say, Menzro, you should be fine. Baby born, birth certificate, British passport. Father, you can prove that you are involved in the child's life. Ni mami ko GPA and then enko Mawudeng Edna GP ho as the emergency contact and the father GP memo letter with other supporting evidence with the bare application. In fact, you can go on the 5-year route, not on the 10 years. You can go on the 5 years. Just do the English language test at the right level. Make sure you have the financial requirements to meet the maintenance requirements. You have accommodation, you have the English language. You will be able to switch to the 5 years, not 10 years. After 5 years, indefinite. After 1 year, British citizenship in the UK. Thank you.
Okay, boss, lawyer Theo, Yanko.
Yo, lawyer. Problem is yeah, you grab British passport. Yeah, we ukruma by a bahans and ye
Very good.
And so I the Ghanaian passport no echo. Yanje visa. But say no ya Ghana and I pese you apply for a British citizenship makwala no. Say prove say na ye kon ye kra visa na ye kwaya na say because British passport no mostly would to can Ghanaian passport almost stamp. Enti no be da kire hu for say fi kese mfo say ukono o de Ghana de na koye because say you come in ntanka say o de ahabia ni na eko but because of bureaucracy ni afi na uko landing up and down into ye kwa ni afa Ghana de na edeko e ho de itimi koba obi antwintwe mu ba sesi no ye pese agi citizenship makola na ye wo no Ghana na ye be den ana no de hu hia so be kire se wo ko no o je be sansa na okoya na se e be proof se wo ho ansa na nyinsen ne bae.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good question. Good question. Thank you. And no, you can answer the questions now here. One, so all the Ghana DNA ne koye mpoa ebia yen stampemo, we agree, but uto ticket and our the so you can retrieve the tickets not for the trips in and out, especially so uto online and you send you say confirmation. Let me print all those tickets to confirm say you were in Ghana, you traveled to Ghana. So beer, I know sometimes we throw these things away, but beer. Let me actually show you so let me your boarding pass Nibia or table bin so let me the announce and possibly a possible so over to me contact see the KIA Kotoka International Airport if you do something we call data request, subject access request in this country. If you do a subject access request, they can provide for you all your data. I believe it's possible that you can also do the same subject access request from Kotoka. It might be possible for them to give you your itinerary of when all your arrivals and departures. That is also possible. I haven't done it before, but I believe that it could be possible. The other thing is this. When abufrane mame communication be na ewo montem, WhatsApp messages, phone calls, emails, money transfer. When abufrane wo pictures and all these things will prove that yes, ebia na wonni ho ansa na yewo abufrane enti the time na onye no na wonni ho wonni no pictures. But by all means, when abufrane mame benya some communications about this child, you can use all of this to support your application. Above all, you can have a DNA done. If you can prove this, that the child is your child, particularly with a DNA, you can get a British passport for the child. British passport for your child. You should. Thank you. Please, does a return right of residence spouse visa exist? Yes, it still exists. If you're married to an EU national and maybe after 3 years you divorced, and you can prove that the marriage had lasted for 3 years before the divorce, you started the divorce proceedings. You can prove that you both live in the UK for 1 year during the 3 years. You can prove that on the date that you started the divorce proceedings, the EU national was in the UK, and you can prove that you have lived in the UK continuously from after the divorce till 5 years is up. You can go for return right of residence. Or if you were married to this woman, you have a child, and you are in custody of the child, you can go for return right of residence on that basis as well. Or if your partner passed away, also you can go for return right of residence. So the argument is yes, or the question is the return right of residence still valid or still available The answer is yes, but you need to meet the right category or the requirements, provide the right requirements, and you should be fine. Thank you. Obin Kobienti, hi. I'm on a school visa. I want to switch to spouse visa. Can I use my customary certificate from Ghana? Well, yes, you can, but the Home Office is being finding important into it some strange reasons for refusal. Very strange reasons for refusal. The Home Office is claiming that you have to be in Ghana for some 15 days before the marriage is contracted, which is not true. Go to the Marriage Act. The Marriage Act of Ghana, it does not ask for any 15 days before you can marry in Ghana. But the Home Office is coming with all kinds of reasons to refuse people. But the point is, yes, you can still use it. And likely they'll refuse it, you take it to court. But if you don't want the hassle, which is a wrong basis for refusal, you can marry here in the UK, or you can decide to go to Ghana with your partner, get married, and come back. But the Home Office is very wrong, very, very wrong when they come out with these decisions. You can still use your customary marriage, but you must be ready to go to court if they refuse you. Can you renew your 2.5 spousal visa without having a tenancy or mortgage agreement? It is possible to renew it without a tenancy agreement on the basis that the Home Office have seen it before, especially if you are still in the same address that you were in at the time of the initial application, and they must have seen it before. All your documents shows that you are still in the same address. The payslip shows you are the same address. The bank statement shows the same address. The gas bill, the water bill, the council tax, everything shows you are in the same address. The absence of the tenancy agreement alone should not affect your application, because when you apply, they ask you, do you pay rent? If you say yes, they don't ask for tenancy agreement. If you say no, that is when they ask for additional evidence. So you must know which box to tick to know what to provide. So yes, I think you can, depending on the circumstances. You don't necessarily have to produce the tenancy agreement every time, depending on your situation. Thank you. Stella, hi, can one go back to his or her home country and reapply for spouse visa if he overstayed before going back? Is it possible to get a visa when you do that? Well, it is possible, but because of the new rules they have introduced, is part suitability. They've introduced part suitability, which was introduced on the 11th of 11th, 2025, which says that if a person has overstayed their visa, the application should be refused. It just says once you've overstayed, your application should be refused. So yes, you can go out, apply with all the necessary supporting evidence, pay slips, bank statements, marriage certificate, communication, prove relationship and everything, but the Home Office can still refuse you because they can say under part suitability you have overstayed your visa. But if they refuse you, you should be ready to take it to court. The judge will then make a decision based on the circumstances, of course, by interpretation of the law. So yes, you can go out and apply, but because of part suitability, it may be refused, but you can then take it to court. Thank you. Osako to Bright, hi, I hope you're doing good. I entered with student visa, but I wasn't able to finish. But my share code and identity are active. I'm now married to a British person at the marriage registrar office in the UK, with which a marriage certificate was issued to me. I made an application and was refused. I was instructed to go home to appeal. Can I win my case? Well, the question is, did they cancel your visa? If they canceled your visa or your leave at the time of the application, then yes, they are right, because you should have been here legally. If you were here illegally, then of course they would refuse your application. But if there is a child involved, if you have a child in a relationship, then you should have been successful. Of course, it doesn't appear there is any such thing. Take it to court. Don't go out. Why should they say go out and appeal? you can appeal in the UK. If you have the right of appeal, do it in the UK. If you don't have the right of appeal, I would advise you to do PAP, Pre-Action Protocol, Judicial Review, and ask them to give you the right of appeal in country, especially because this is an Article 8 matter. You should appeal in the UK, not from outside the UK. Again, if there's a child involved, you have a good chance. If you don't have a child involved, either stepchild or your own biological child, then the Home Office may ask you to go back home and they can certify your decision, which will not give you the right of appeal. In that case, the only option you will have may be to go for judicial review, review, not admin review, but judicial review. Okay, thank you. DJ.
But lawyer, only my dear BM and one cry. And one person will be a lawyer question. One person will be a and then me the question we line now to almost question now. I want to mean Fred. Mentiasi. But one person will be a lawyer question. Ask lawyer. No, we have a how many one will be sound there, some will be sound. I don't know. I don't know. Comment section.
I'm currently 3 months pregnant. The pregnancy occurred outside my marriage, and I do not wish to pursue a DNA test. What documents should I prepare in this situation? Well, if you are currently pregnant and it's 3 months and it is outside your marriage, remember, if you go to Section 50, subsection 9A of the British Nationality Act, the child's father is your husband. So if you're married to somebody and you get pregnant, the child's father is the man to whom you were married at the time the child is born. So if you are still married to Mr. A and you give birth to the child is Mr. A's child and not Mr. B with whom you slept child. No, so take note of that. If you don't want to go through the DNA test, then that will be quite difficult for you. You may have to prove evidence that you and the child's father, yes, you go for GP appointments, antenatal records, your name is there, the child's red book, his name is on, etc., etc. This may be the things we can use to prove. But in any case, the ultimate will be to get the DNA to prove that he is the father of the child. Otherwise, your husband will be deemed as the father of the child.
Chairman, lawyer to you.
Lawyer, the question in case he says a woba kuma, that's a wusiki asalamo airport one. That's a offer lawyer, that's a Yamaupia. No, because every Friday, but that's one choir. Within some years, no. No, but was also would the asylum no fashion a bit my yes, sir. And the question is to say, Obi Kuta Kuma Krata, Obit or British, Obit my adoption and I.
Okay, so the first one is a Yasiba Sawan go sign, right?
Okay. Drop it, but
DJ, Yasiba sign one go sign, you are categorized as an absconder. Obia absconding, and see Omodi and also have a share the part suitability now by on the 11th of November 2025. Now if you're an absconder, Yasiba report to one qua. So now they are refusing application. But so Ubani a British, of course, with me, of course, argue say, look, your child is a British, etc., etc. You can argue that basis. Or besides, second question about adopting somebody. Adoption, the word adoption can only be applied to under 18 years. Yeah, now you use the word adoption from penny for a dependency. Any dependency, but yakam and akasa adoption. It is called dependency for you for now. So I didn't know be already 30 years, 40 years. So say I want to me adoption today be a dependency. That is extended family and look and hope you. But will be a British citizen who kroma now person adopt here abofra, of course. But me go through the right channel of an adoption agencies in this country. Now it's me adoptee abofra wokoma. I don't think I have really answered your question, but if not, please call back and then I'll be able to get additional information. Thank you.
Okay, next caller, lawyer Theo.
Hello, good evening, sir. Good day, Mr. Main program is there. We were third year for 2.5 years with them. I was still trained less than 10 years now, and I was making me the comfortable do my with me. I indifferent, and I was 10 years, and for 10 years now. But that's it.
That's na long residence now the nyae.
If I just today,
What's the guy?
Ufa ubaso na nyae na utna
me basso.
Okay. Abofra ne maame na sitina be na owo.
Well, breaches.
Okay. In that case, wono ubetnya switch from the 10-year route no so about 5-year route so. Ubetnya another application. No was from 10 years no so no about 5 years so. And so it's a relationship with Abofrano. And so it's immigration status who are sitna. And so it's a financial requirement and a maintenance with the Michelle Ubano. And so it's English language test. And so it's accommodation. So what me just and yama we are. And you with me another application. No one switch it from the 10 years. Now they are about 5 years. So you want 2.5 years and another 2.5 years.
Unless my third year. It's like I'm performing it so. Third year, let's say who free after 5 years. So,
yes, near 1 year no did down no be shegu. Ultra 5 years, then there is no need to do. Yes. Ultra 5 years, there is no need for you to switch because over say another 5 years. So it is, and it's a what 3 years, at least account 2 years. Into switch here, you save yourself some 2 years, maybe. But normally, maybe clients no say menya 2.5 years ni ma because you say koye juma after 6 months and 7 months bra near some switching out 5 years no and yes I bet not 10 years no so
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so like I found next caller, but young kind once I may train we wait me a kind message via or be the buy.
Good evening, Kwame Kusi. Hi, please. What kind of documents do I need to renew my 20 years private life 2.5? Well, you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot at all. But you need, of course, my pay slips, bank statements, your passport copy, and tenancy agreement if you have one. Short list. Go ahead, do your application. Another 2.5 years. Once you can prove say what's not from her, since the amount what's not her continuously, you should be fine. Pay slips, bank statement, tenancy agreement, passport, and then you can make the application to be in the UK. Yes?
Yes. Next caller, lawyer Phil.
Hello, lawyer. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, you.
Lawyer Pacho, you can say me the student visa nearby. Na I'm say school no. Me NU school no. And financial issues. Inti me name one me share me British lady me no shower you should come home office and you should come marriage registry mama go ahead. Me share code and then me identity still intact me the adwuma ABBA. Me application that was 2024. And refuse me 14 days he say me appeal. And my appeal no. Na slide me train code this. Na mpese UAC kono share abeboa me anasenka minko fie nkonko another application.
But Chamenko, abo mame no waba na okay. Now, the next question is
21.
okay. A DNT reason ben omo for the refusal no.
I almost say one curtailment.
Curtailment, yes.
Maybe so.
Very good. That is all I want to hear. Without say. Curtailment and no eso na mo gina ye. E kire say wo visa na wo di buy student visa na wo di buy no. Omo twem and omo teso until it came to an end. Even though you were still able to generate share code, still working, the curtailment had taken place. Meaning situation bia you can tell ni panel share ni visa as far back as 2024, similar to yours. 2024. Now so ultimate generated share code and net make us a ultimate generated share code. Sally panel so what me call Ghana assign a buyer. Oman be it means that they did not update their records. The Home Office did not update their records. And the system no so there, and that's which say sitting now. Meanwhile, and no. Bia no dia email na odi application first. Maybe na odi come. Ana bia agents no, ana your friends connection man. Bia connection man na oya application man wo no. Ni email bia na daso. Bia mo dis information no. E dia akoma no. Ono nso wan kan kiro. On that basis, we know name set is being curtailed. Until your application now is being curtailed. In such a situation, you can take it to court. You've done the appeal, you've taken it to court. You can challenge the Home Office. Say, look, someone can tell me, was it now? I'm still able to generate share code. I was still able to travel in and out. I'm still here legally as far as I'm concerned. Evidence when I'm more I just I'm okay tell mo survey me and I'm my information. We do hire friend a notice of service. So Home Office refuse your application. Now more information and I'm through the right channel or through the right means and I'm everywhere. That decision has not been served. Notice of service. So Home Office HR sitting address. Email, telephone number, lawyer details, and our agent information. Now, any of these persons are, even though once you have not been served, you have not been served. The visa is still deemed to be legal. So, my point is, find out from your emails, go to your email, go to your junk mail, go to your maybe your agent's email, check with them if you received any such information. If nothing of the sort was received, I can tell you that you have a very good case. Very, very good case. But do your homework and be sure that you have not been served first before we can decide. So, let us know first what the background information is before you can go out and come back. Worst case scenario, you can go apply and return to join your wife here in the UK. Yes? Thank you.
Boss, me back to you.
Yo, Pacho, me say, me were, I feel saying, 10 years route no. 10 years route no, na, but they can try first two, but they can try first 2.5. As the same was second a year. A conversion on your farm met me. I shifted visa 10 years in Marco 5 years.
How many years?
So much here.
How many years so far?
What's it?
How many years now? Why years so far?
What's it? My year 2.5. So say me second a year when way.
Mommy, I sit na be no.
First 2.5 no. So say I'm a more renewal me. I'm more second 2.5
no. I sit na be no.
Only problem no. Hold on. I feel say Mamin can't we jina so answer. Say ufre na only lawyer kasa na utie wo TV ni so a be delay. It is the
Okay.
friend and YouTube TV follow no cry, do no cry, not tear from phone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
you know, some a bit delay a crown, son of what the okano.
Okay.
It's you know,
Okay.
phone, so
Okay.
not YouTube TV, no volume.
Okay.
Why? It's a lawyer,
Okay.
no be Sunday,
Okay.
now be Sunday, be omni and chasso.
Minia, thank you.
Me say
Mhm.
me what 10 years route no. Long stay. And long stay. Na me di ketra first 2.5. The second 2.5 na me way. Na a kwan best I make first so make me I shift make to move from a long 10 years route no. I could be a 5 years.
So, would you 20 years and I would nya na uba so na would nya
Yeah, and 20 years.
20 years, okay. 20 years there. Just say, hey, dear, who worry? Let me switch you from who their private life, family life. So, and now just say, let me switch you from private life, and their parents to so. And yes, sir, say, worry him. Now, say, according to Nimwa, and the Uber this 10 years, Uber do 2.5 years, so, sir, 10 years now. Uber Yawasi.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so callers in their doors, but lawyer, they can kindly be answered and in fairness course. Why? So if you're
Okay.
holding the line, a back screen is super now, say, call Jinasono. No.
Please, I came to the UK with COS in 2023 with a dependent, but I switched to a new COS with job code 6135. I didn't add the dependent to the new COS, and I want to ask if I can bring another dependent from Ghana. Well, yes, sir. Would buy with a COS in 2023, and you are now on another COS, which is 6135. The answer is yes. You can bring a new dependent because you were on a different one and you are continuing with a different one, which is 6135. Yes, you can still bring your partner to join you here. But there's some financial requirement. You must have a certain amount of money in your account for 28 days. I think it's around 400 and something pounds for 28 days. So you can call the office or you come, we sit down, we do the calculation and look at your bank statement, see how much balance you've had for the past 28 days before this application for you. Because uko below that financial requirement, they will refuse the application. Please call the office on 02080165-384. The two screen so what that we can discuss it. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. DJ, yes.
Next caller, it's you.
Lion Patrol, good evening.
Good evening, bro. How are you?
Patrol, where you
Ukasa no wechiro who use earpiece liana.
Me Patrol afedie.
Aha, sisi ya etonka.
Me Patrol, me ne obi na ba hanom na ye de aware na ba ye ana ye ja aware. Na ja ye no on de ofa ne kwan na so me fa me kwan. Ena ja kunya obi ne no efa afuro. Ana omo ye na bema no eje eniema ma akora no na oba no so gina so se wo je eniema na odi atena ekuro nim enti eba asa no na kire se afi de omo ka se case na koye exceptionally complex issue enti otwen ye no ha no mo sene ne email se omra for interview enti Friday ya no call interview no oba no ibisa no de ombusa no ebi bema na one ni nyinsen wo ye no ene nsem bebre ba no kire se omo se bema na ama no kompesen komo ye DNA ma ono so ka kire omo se ono die ogidi se bema no ye akra ne papa nti no DNA no hu so mfa so ye ko se one bema nyinsen na se omo awodi a ade ntina chinchina DNA na omo so once wa ama interview no komo so se nkonye DNA ono ba no ka se ono die se DNA no mo pese omo force no mo ye na ono no de woni problem e san se wonim se ne papa ene papa no akwa papa ne papa no but wonim be ma ne tirim na emom no no gidi se akwa ne papa eno no nti eno ne question busa no de and then also stress you or say bet on also try say or back and tower more on that and I have so a banny sicker some so mubusa and say among say or suit your rent 800 and so among so 1,004 be me was no 1,004 but catch them so the fear and a car until I would treat you as a canoe if you honor. Till I am asking Busanya and say, what interview number say, per DNA question mubusa and more answers. Person may bisa, we then yes be at Sanetti, Nessu may be sake say, Usu say, Ombe DNA and so on money.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Possible, sir, based on information now on the interviewing officer. Usually, any interview officer no a decision. Or information in not or the case officer, another case worker. Not case worker no, assessment. Possible, sir, based on near Obana capture the interviewing officer. Send your capture BBR, but the command case officer now. Case officer can look at it and say, oh yes, I think the Mamini can, a Sumunti. Yeah, Mabufrano, the British passport no. And say issue issue. And issue musam. It is possible. So when we enter with convictions, by all means, they will be for DNA again, or they will let it slide. So you just have to wait and see what the caseworker decides. But in this case, they don't have discretion, but based on information or assessment to determine if they can issue. That is what I can say to this one.
Okay, next caller, lawyer Teo.
Pacho, good evening.
Good evening.
Pacho, my question is, me ba UK Hanumu 2023, me the US ne buy. Ba me buy no company no sense one mama management me switch ko different company. Me need dependence ne buy. But along the line no, me need dependent no yantimi ya separate here. And me nya new COS no me job code near 6135. And maybe say make me akofa obi fufuro and make me the dependent free Ghana aba on the new COS now me G in 2024 no more na wadaroma.
Mr. O, now we are dependent and now we are main applicants.
I'm a main applicant.
Okay, and you how because Uber with the COS and I was switching another COS, which is 6135. In that case, so anyway, more relationship now good. Now I worry before fraud. A so-called Ghana, what now say registry, BPR pictures, BPR will come. Of course, we application now. Be not once, not twice. As long as the requirements are satisfied, we sit na no asa baba ka ho yes.
I'm picking next caller. Course the me who miss course no be brain. The floor and our fan and tem why. Open on the lawyer Casa and Tebepon, numbers in those screens. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, lawyer Teo.
Bacho, Mate. Lawyer Bacho, good evening. Me Bacho, me question na me EU citizen na me pese me kofa me bade bana. I want to know say EU family visa no for dependent still na no. A year Jumana and Pacho then again so would it require a tenancy agreement because as of now no me fan say more shared accommodation mo sisia that's
Mr. Romanko, abofrano or you want Kasauba na a extended family member.
but Jose
Abofrano you want Kasauba ana or ya ebusiani.
I'm Bacho Bacho mantini ye. Bacho.
I'll say Akolana, Wangasa Oba, and also your Bushini.
Bacho Mrs. Taba.
I don't know. I trim. From Brexit time, no. From Brexit, no. No. If you and say, as I said, you cannot bring the child here because of the fact that from Brexit, that law has been cancelled. You cannot bring extended family members anymore. Wanka sankasa uba, yes, to meet the naba. But o sister, o brother, o uncle, o nephew, o niece, and yet possible set to meet the from the 31st of December 2020, from 31st December 2020, extended family for in Eddie a film.
Okay, so a lawyer to Kola. You.
Okay, lawyer, Pacho, with Mrs. Tabiwo, UK na one Bema bin a coy. Na Bema no. Hello?
You.
Okay, Pacho, Mrs. Star, one Bema bin a coy, UK no the COS ni bin a coy. Na kona mo coy no Bema no who nature kwine. Ono so person ye divorce. It is such process no no so mo worry organ ha no mo coy. It's say no ono so hu how obesi go about it obesi any divorce no na ono so etimi anyu obi so for so aware no enti masembusa no say no obesi aye na ono so betimi aware.
Okay,
so sir, when you be abba from her, o sister and then you kuno abba na unfortunately relationship now break it down. Now, of course, when baby Obama no one, about me started divorce proceedings. I will chrome her. Say, or the email address, or the telephone number, or of course, we need address, but our the marriage certificate, the original one, about me, I started the divorce proceedings. But as I saw, what she share no, into what me social media handles, FaceTime, Facebook, X, and all the other social media handles now. Over to me, I should share. Now, what you say, what you share now, when to me, Anya now, over to me, I print all this evidence, Eddie, account. So, social media handles, like, of course, we have different types. We have blog, enterprise social networks, etc., photo sharing, Pinterest, social bookmarking, etc. You can go through all of this and search for the person, prove it, print it, attach it to the application. Now, Woody, a application for divorce. The court, when we say you have actually looked for this person, you haven't found them, or you cannot find them, the court to go ahead with the divorce proceedings. Number 20 email, number 70 email address. Now, when to me, I respond here, no one respond here, the court will still go ahead with the divorce proceedings. So it shouldn't be a problem. My only concern is Okoye or Ghana, Nase, Omo Sevi Papa, because when baby or one, Papa, say, I'm not privy to this divorce. I didn't know anything about it. It's a fake divorce. I don't see the court shouldn't accept it. So look at Friendster, MySpace, Facebook, Worldwide, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Resume, Negative Effects, Dehumanize, etc. So if you can go to all these media handles to search for the person. Find a ding share and do a search. Print all the results never banner. Or better media court application when they are court and say, I have searched for this person everywhere. You can even write to the GP now. I just you look for this person. You can write to the passport office. You can write to the Ghana High Commission. If they know his address, they will all respond back to you and say, unfortunately, we don't know this person's address. You can use all of this. Your sister can use all of this as evidence that she has searched for the gentleman. She hasn't found him. The court to go ahead with the divorce. But you know what, Mbeka he is not aware of the divorce. So yes, she can do it, but it's a lot of work. So she needs the service of a legal representative to help her do this. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hey, ebi mo hokran asemo. Hello. Na lawyer, UK ono musu network ni yes ah. Sana bibian nem sumusa.
Jana or Yejuma.
Hello.
Take
Hello. Ah, ene for before free. Lawyer, me who questions me go me say who answer we are. Who answer we?
Okay, Benny and Buddy. Is it Benny and Barbie? Okay. Benny and Barbie. Hi. That's a nice couple. Did you have a friend who has met an EU person who has agreed to marry him, but he came with a visitor's visa as he has currently overstayed? Will it be possible? Well, he has overstayed. EU national. What are they going to do? Is there a child? Is there a stepchild? It may be possible if there's a stepchild or if there's a child and the relationship is genuine, it can be possible. EU national, the rules have changed. Even if you have a EU passport, we will still use UK laws because the UK is no longer in the EU. You have a EU passport, German passport, Portuguese passport, Italian, French, whatever it is, you have their passport. But because the UK is no longer part of that group, even if you marry an EU national, we will use the UK law. And the UK law says you must be here legally, or there has to be a child, or there has to be some exceptional circumstance. Let's say EX2. There has to be some medical condition. If none of those factors are present, then the answer is no.
Okay. Kola, lawyer Tio.
Oh, okay, Mpacho, medasi DJ. Lawyer, Mpacho, many been a buyer, but I mean I'm here dependent on or main applicant, but to tell the onye me hoka for a minute or ankasa. Me hoka for ankasa wo krom ha say nti me ne buy me guy na a buyer, but ye bibia bom we communicate, we do everything. By your fill forms no ye ade me nkola I ka ho obuye mienu. Enti this year na person me nko form but na me bisa say will it be possible mbetumi nya aba na because all the documentation I idea apart from that no so yes switch ye COS no for the idea by in 2023 the no ye mum but yes it's employers some man sponsorship ni na wa de make ho inti ni na make process no ne nkola nti na bisa say e be possible to bring nkola na.
Okay.
I will answer the legal side of the question. DJ, I will answer the question legally. Emrani Chresa sep one worry. Nasa when you kuno ewo krom ha as a skilled worker. Nasa wo upese wo kofa wo ma ebe krom ha. Enye wo kuno ne ba. Ne wo ne wo krom ha. Wo ma wo answer ba emofra ne nye wo ne emma. So, as a dependent of a skilled worker, with friend is sole responsibility. You need to prove that you have sole responsibility for these children, their education, their medical needs, their domestic affairs, of course, their maintenance, their clothing, their religious life. You make all the decisions. If you can prove that you make all these decisions concerning your children and you have sole responsibility, then of course you are able to apply to bring the children to the UK as dependents of a dependent of a skilled worker or children of a dependent of a skilled worker. As to whichever aspect, those other details, I will leave that out. But strictly, the law says, so we are dependent. But so it's possible if you can show that you have sole responsibility for these children. That is what the law says.
Chairman, lawyer Theo.
Good evening, lawyer. So here.
Theo.
Lawyer, good evening.
Good evening, Papa.
Lawyer, I kind of say me the COS ni bi na buy. Na me person me obana na buy ni hobium nti no. Na me person me co school. Na because me co school na na me person me sesa me na me nkrata na ebe ha adwena na eno ne me question. Lawyer.
Okay.
Sa admission kwa we application ko school no your assessment say you are qualified, you score all the necessary points na cast na confirmation of acceptance for study, then of course to me switch student route. So there is no restrictions say dependent no to a student. There is no such restriction. I haven't seen any such restrictions. Yes, as long as you can get the university or the school to accept you, give you admission, etc., etc., you are able to switch to the partner, the student route. Yes, thank you. DJ. Okay, good evening, lawyer. I'm a police officer with the Met Police for over 6 years. My kids are all British citizens. Can I bring some of my sister's children from Ghana? Well, if it is possible, yes, you can. Why? There are two rules you can do this under. The first one is paragraph 297 of the immigration rules. Paragraph 297 of the immigration rules, which says if a relative is in the UK and the children are outside and there is compassionate circumstance, it means that their situation is so bad that it's in the best interest for these children or this child to come and join you here, then it may be possible for you to come. But it is a difficult option. Paragraph 297 of the immigration rules, I think, is F or so, where there is a relative here. You are a relative, but the question is, are the children's situation so bad that you need to bring them to the UK? So give me a quick one. 297 of the immigration rules. It's talking about bus 297. All right, so 297 children. It says 297 IF. One parent or relative is present and settled in the UK, or being admitted on the same occasion for settlement, and there are serious and compelling family or other considerations which make exclusion of the child undesirable. So the question is, are you a relative? Yes. Are there serious and compelling family circumstances? If yes, then you can come for us to talk. If no, then don't waste your money at all. You'll be spending a lot of money and it will be refused. The second option is if there's a genuine reason for you to go and adopt the children, then you can start with an adoption agency here in the UK. You can contact an adoption agency in the UK or your local council. They will guide you through the process of adopting a child from outside the UK. Once that goes through, then you can bring the child or the children here in the UK. So it's 297 or adoption to bring the kids to the UK. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, for last call away. Lawyer Theo, I am go.
Yo, wait a bit. That's in your coya, dear man. Michelle, lawyer,
Yeah, Josu.
Oh, okay. In fact, about 2022, I'm supposed to be the COS nearby. And I'm by some lawyer say, me girl, maybe so we secondary school as at the number. No, baby, no, 17. I can't be 2 months, no, when you're 18. Meet me application in my possible. Now, number two, maybe say about indefinite leave to remain. say what if you na me van say who apply for indefinite do they consider council tax as one of the payment of council tax as one of the requirements? Say.
Okay,
well, sir, council tax, when you have council tax, now you work for court. Now you're more fine. And it bet me affect your indefinite leave to remain application. But so the cat now would chiaka crack will be on for one court and the only how it's not a problem. Obia dika okroma, obia di well, me say obia maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of us will be credit card na nini yakika hono corona kasa credit card and say udika and as long as you are paying it you should be fine. Don't you worry about that. I am for one court to issue a fine and anything of the sort, and that's fine. The second one is ubanwe naka 2 months no the 18 so eka 1 day mpo 2 days 3 days mpo now the 8 now your application name na age no I best stop it at 17 hold and you're 18 but when you're 18 depending want to mean and take notes and make sure say over before 18 years and take 1 day it's not nobody 8 not we application in there it stops at 17 not 18. That's my advice for you. Thank you.
Okay, lawyer wisdom akao. That's it. Say na the abegu lawyer numbers no screen so no. Here further way be office number, mobile number, obetimi contact Wise One Solicitors, office location or more London, Dawson Junction. Lawyer address way there. Dawson Junction. McDonald's, then my office and location. No jam, remember Dawson Market. It's be there. It's not jam or say wax.
That's it. It's here for you know and then we answer questions maybe over an hour plus. So that is very helpful. I'm grateful for your time always for coming in to ask questions. I'm grateful and I thank God for your lives. DJ Wisemart Solicitors, WISEMART Solicitors, 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 The Print House. 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 The Print House. Postcode near E8 3DL, Dalston Junction, London, Dalston Junction, postcode E8 3DL, E8 3 Delta Lima, EA3DL. Telephone numbers at 02 plus 44 2080 165 384. That is 0208 0165 384. 0208 0165 384. Mobile number is 07931 411 042. 07931 411 042. 07931 411 042. Your Dalston Junction, behind the McDonald's building, KCAPC, Akola Theatre, Wingstop, Ashwin Street, Print House. That is where we are. 18 to 22 Ashwin Street. Uba, Yabesho. DJ, thank you. I'm grateful. Maone Jomo, Awe, Gone, what's it? Or Makwe, Ekon Unlo. No more next week. Nyaga Dogo.
Monochi.
Okay, mini
Monochi. Next week.
Monochi or Makwe.
Lawyer Wisdom Macao, me then I say the abegu and the numbers the whole screen so no so I will bono obet me a screenshot and obet me a try to her obet me a contact no for any further way be me then I say yeah na me can say information is very important into more mo join a class then at least what the course so unim bibia utie we dey won't say yeah na wonya information very important and I be brain no no za branche ba ko bi ba na o kan go for dada o ko no bi kan we TikTok so na de mo say be twantro ne ade misleading people be brain na go well mo no omo no omo ye lawyers so they know what's going on. People out there, they just per content it or chantrosa no bano jijimu no cansem be. I'm sure you're not. Oh, but me them say we information now I starting look sharp. Who them say oh problem or problem, you know I starting papa now men train. One time now 2 1 more. So when say be enko last minute I dey na fe na ho pray ho kire oni ade no. Nti na me say information is very important. Madam I say mo share SVTV Africa FM DJ Nyame, Madam production team I say mo join the class na Nyame Madam I say big shout out to mo nyina. Opesa oba me show no so bia. Me de me di nkomo ha, me tie experiences. Obi wa pesa wo share ma obi susua bi free ma wo Ghana wo to kwan baby a wo bia wo show a YouTuber a channel no say interviews across the world baby name it baby Ghana for obi a wo be. Yes, it didn't come over. It's in here because so na business link. Come on, businesses for Ghana. Many of them didn't come over. They were more than no. So the making there, you can make it anywhere with depending information or cranny the unim. And the Americans are there no. Very important to circle. Go for your monante. So very important. And information idea will consume. Only say has any there. Negativity in door so share e bia nse no be you and obi tag me say me te dia aba me say dia me who but I don't know this our country. What would this one bring? Are they tarnish ne spread more na they gu or mind any mass? Me we almost say Russia guy be and turning news obi aka na mba na say na we those kind things. Be someone say what will you are just tarnishing your country. One can man kaka ebe shi enye news ade we obetimi akọ BBC mu ni ade omo circulate ade we people don't get it. The negative one adwen no I don't know if what I'm saying you get it. You are tarnishing your country into you know posting away a different country na we buy no in Africa one Ghana ma beda and no say and then news ayepe ne go say negative because obi enya asem. How? Because of being yourself, a good news on kada. Because on the obetchiremu, and I don't do that bad energy. Not tanishi, because of being yourself, on go for obiaso camera, and the moon to churchemu, because a good thing for Ghana on kada. But yeah, bad thing, so they make and me boy be bad thing. And no we actually come right and it's only way I could that and I need man only saying as if say obi the ono the officer ono no papa sin obi and not touch you yet but the way you are spreading it you can because you need I say you have problem. I don't know if some people understand what I mean and no energy no was so it's hear information you be to an amount on pay attention to no but will be down for and how tell you and they say content creators say muso say on pe go nim say on ankofun be go menya scan on chechemu no it's hey well I mean obi ane na dream me de omo so mbeti ade be bo mo no mbeti ebi muso pesa na masses ne pesa de wi enim ngwa ase nyama nyama be gbo bie no eno kwana na me dwe sa na ugu o mind na all the negative news ade we bi na me say abrofo no ade we betimi aba ombeye underground ati guy no but publish sa ade we this America nye the day and as a country be nye the day fast adios or by no ne ma be die na the whole country na we media so na they make about negative no o taneshi Ghana din by what do you baso ye it's guy we the buy no and na ye investigation paying for no who be no ma shati media no sa videos we all yi nkrofo anim ni ade no ma investigation no ma koche no nti be shati on it mean circulating by ye no ya copy videos no me say obi ga tell me so e wo Telegram ko tie ska no ama videos no ni Oh, now you obi so back no akos no see ngu obi anim as na spreading negativity. Oh, na o man no tanishe man no tanishe o man oba we enyo mu nyina nete sa. No tanishe the Ghana man no obi no but I don't know form. No, I don't know. And no na important to. Shadi is important my yebeka did ye pe bibiaka yebeka na nkofusu go so they like that energy no. How will you learn? How you better develop it? Until you look at something, come on, serious that because someone will say the brain no, I didn't what form. It is obedient yasem, obedient. I no more no die. No someone young korankora. So no be die and passa say or no be die. Omunyanko, no prince who dinechi. Intimen condemn say intimacy and 92. Deɛ yɛkɔ so bebree nyama bebree wɔ ɛkɔkɔ so awu no also ye bi obi ye bi na emba out here it don't make like a saint yeah it's when I won't tell that because obi if you rush aba no oba na because of that Danny news na obi ho na obi ya kan we bi we na we dey tag obi bi we na me maybe a different kakra a different kakra ade bi edi ne ade positive bo say for say ebi mu ye positive thing na omunni I say one hwe ni anoma bamubu just focus on what you are doing if you say good media me say me man can SVTV anybody can come and host people can be there but me per se no ade bi too much me can na I said so mine and tarnish or mine now it can be na I say we are there say Ghana who say you be na you be yourself person na you there and happen up so chechemu or you so content to make money or chechemu and na you nim say go for pay what will you get from it is a funny say oh sister okay then funny say wow share me sister me kan okro say me sister ka ho and our sister ka ho video ye the two obi the two out ebe o the same the bruni be is a good thing na your security na ye ka Ghana on Ghana ngada on other Africans mad na ye bobi no no na we so afa na ai adwene wo form kra adwene wo form on ni genuwo bad energy say obi chire bibi say farming say juma bi say inti ama ye hu information ye hu as o man na kasa bebre no youth no ye hu opportunities no say negative thing no ye twen obi anya asem na we are say dey bia negative na but omo de ombe ye o by who na depending on you who na obe waste time to watch waste time to follow as o man na obi abeye say ya the security near the any code and normal picking and can wait to me security online. Even come to me have restricted the on social media. But also they don't do it now way now. The Ghana no way I did be best say wow man who we all got to brony come now but say praise brony chrome because brony no say brony chrome now praise I did way because so on you go media no so or no ye oh as if na make a more outside but me as on no media no say brony but na brony no mo na no say we anyway be da no ma yi man nyina nim sa omkra nyama bi ba serious kra na so omkata gofo nanim no we yi sa nyama no ensi kra ho no we yi sa no so ono so promoting no we yi sa nyama we nyina no we yi na etan se obai no ni UK man be say oni girls be say ni we na we ni Germany man and oni Spanish man omo nya sa o ntu wa nti sa nyama no ba Africa aba Ghana let's say yem boy enkrofo ne entanishi ya edin entanishi ekuru no owi an ko gina o say Ghana nye Ghana die who adwene wo form anyway omo asobeti me da man say mo share SVTV Africa FM DJ nyame o so ba mi show no so bia etie stories esua de wa ade be boa wo akọ enim omo aso ebiti +23324479090 and I say +23324067788. It's with me WhatsApp me and I say your voice note. Ushamo kruma den na ka se tu. Na ma jesu tu.
Hi there. My name is Calipos, the only boss with one S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities.
why life has been made so easy? It's because of Tap Send. People, Tap Send is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge. So, what are you waiting for? Download Tap Send on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on Tap Send.
Tap Send. Send more, spend less.